and I was trying to make ends meet. So I
Yeah.
was doing Uber at the time. I was
Mm.
driving Uber, but I was still working at Domino's. I was just doing Uber on my day off. So while I'm doing Uber, he called me and say that. So I'm like, okay. I already knew where he was going at with it. So I said, you know what? This is it. This is it, man. This is like
My
my
way
Rocky
out.
C moment right here. This is the moment. This is the moment I take the leap of faith. I remember where I sat at. I sat right there in the parking lot and I typed up my 2 week notice.
Mm.
So that way when I got to the store at 3:30, he's thinking like he's about to like scare me.
Mm-hmm.
So he get in the office, he like, yo, man, do you want this job or not? I told him, I said, I don't. I said, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. So at that point, it's like he couldn't believe it. And he's like, wow, man, what you gonna do, man? You just got a new car and everything. Try to scare me. I said,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
I'm gonna do the same thing you do. I'm a man. I'm gonna get up and figure it out.
Hey, there you go.
So that's it. So I left.
It's good to finally get on here and connect with you, have you share some information with the folks on YouTube and Instagram, inspire them about the trucking industry. I feel like we have too many people who are not too many, but there's some people out there that are really pessimistic or negative, when it comes to um the trucking industry, and that's just because that could be for a lot of different reasons. But um, I see you got your name and for the company Mastermind. Is that? I mean, obviously that's not your real name, but if you could, man, just to kind of to jumpstart this interview, really just tell us about yourself, your upbringing, your name, and all that good stuff. A little background story.
I did go to college, but I dropped out.
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah. So I'm 28. I do. I'm from here, but I'm from Africa. I
Okay.
came here in 2002.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, from Africa. I'm from
What
I'm
what what
African.
country in Africa?
Guinea.
Guinea. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Guinea, West Africa. So my dad brought us all here in 2002,
Mm.
and we've been here since. And we, basically raised like, both parents, mom and dad together in the household until we all just branched out and left home. And they let us fly and do our own thing, basically.
Okay.
Some of my sisters, they went to school, but the boys on the side, we didn't. We didn't go to school. That wasn't a route. I guess that wasn't what was destined for us.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For
So
sure.
yeah, I did. You know, I'm from Delaware,
Okay.
so I did play like high school football, and originally I wanted to go to college because when you're young, you like, I'm gonna be in the NFL. I'm
Right.
gonna be, yeah. You think like that's the only way to be successful,
Yeah. It's
right?
true. It's true.
So so back in the day, I had like NFL dreams. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be an NFL player, but
Running back, quarterback. What's the
defensive lineman,
okay, okay.
yeah. So I'm a big guy, so that was my dreams before. But then I played high school football. I played all 4 years. I was the captain. Like senior year, I was the captain.
Mm,
Um, I played both sports, football and basketball, and I
mm,
did track just to keep me in shape for
mm.
football and basketball season.
Okay.
But my grades wasn't good enough to like. I had coaches that wanted to recruit me, but my grades wasn't. I didn't meet like the GPA standard to
Okay.
to get a scholarship. So I had to go to a prep school. I went to a prep school in North Carolina. Um, I went to a prep school in North Carolina, and that's basically to get you ready to get your grades right to pass the SAT to go to a college. So I went to a prep school in North Carolina. I went there. I played a little bit, and I didn't get a scholarship.
Got it. Yeah.
So I didn't get a scholarship, but I watched all my boys that I was there with. They got scholarships. So I'm like, damn, like I'm like, what am I doing now? I'm like the odd man out. But
Yeah.
I always had a plan. I'm like, all right, because prior to going to this school in North Carolina, I was working at Domino's Pizza while I was in school. I was working there like my senior year. So I said, okay, if this don't work out, I'm gonna just go back to Domino's Pizza and make the best of it. Like
Right.
school ain't gonna work. So like I said, I didn't pass the SAT to get into the schools that wanted me or I wanted to get into. So when I left the prep school, I went back to Domino's Pizza, and then I started working at Domino's. Just worked my way up from a regular crew member to assistant manager, then general manager after that. And then that's when like I kind of seen like the corporate America way of stuff. And I'm like, this ain't really something that I want to keep doing forever. Like, cause I realize you gotta kiss butt to get to the position where you want to be.
Right.
And I'm like, this ain't really where I want to be, you know. So that's what led me into trucking, you know.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because that was getting ready to be the next question. So you know, college football, high school football, and college football didn't really work out. So then
Yeah.
then you go to Domino's, you up in the ranks in Domino's, and then you get a different vision. Okay, wow, like I didn't know certain things operated like this. So how did that transition from Domino's into trucking happen?
All right. So when I was at Domino's, I was like interested in like maybe one day buying a Domino's pizza, right? So I was so while
Like a
I was working there,
franchise?
yeah. So
Okay.
while I was working there, I was like listening, watching the managers, trying to figure out how to read a P&L, profit and loss statement, everything like just to see like how the business works and how much money
Yeah.
they make.
Yeah.
So that was my original plan. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just work hard and one day I'm gonna buy Domino's pizza. But like I said, once I became a general manager, I realized how hard it is to get to that point. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you got to go from general manager to supervisor to operations manager,
Mm.
and it's still probably more steps you got to do to get there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, to do that, that's probably going to take 20 years, you know, and I'm not making enough money as a general manager to do that. So I always was like business minded. Like I always loved numbers. Like
Yeah.
my grades, I was a D and C student in school, but anytime it came to math, that was my specialty. Like I
Yeah.
love numbers.
Right.
I sit here all day think about numbers.
Yeah.
So when I was at Domino's, I'm like, it would be cool to manage a Domino's pizza, but like I said, I saw the cab, and I'm like, to get to that point, it's going to take a real long time, and I'm not making enough money to do that. So 2016, the company, they did me dirty. I stayed
Uh,
with them for an extra year. I was a general manager. I stayed with them for an extra year, and in 2017, that was it. Like one day, I never forget, and I was working so hard. Like I was working 70-hour work weeks at Domino's Pizza, right? But I'm getting paid salary because I'm a general manager.
right.
So I remember on my day off, my boss called me and he's like, "Yo, man, you gotta come up here today. Be here by 3:30. If you're not, there's some things that gotta take place, or we're gonna have to make some changes." So I said, "Okay." And I was trying to make ends meet, so I
Yeah.
was doing Uber at the time. I was
Mm.
driving Uber, but I was still working at Domino's. I was just doing Uber on my day off. So while I'm doing Uber, he called me and say that. So I'm like, okay. I already knew where he was going at with it. So I said, you know what? This is it. This is it, man. This is like
My
my
way
Rocky
out.
C moment right here. This is the moment. This is the moment I take the leap of faith. I remember where I sat at. I sat right there in the parking lot and I typed up my 2-week notice.
Mm.
So that way when I got to the store at 3:30, he's thinking like he's about to like scare me.
Mm-hmm.
So he get in the office, he like, yo, man, do you want this job or not? I told him, I said, I don't. I said, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. So at that point, it's like he couldn't believe it. And he's like, wow, man, what you gonna do, man? You just got a new car and everything. You know, try to scare me. I said,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
I'm gonna do the same thing you do. I'm a man. I'm gonna get up and figure it out.
Hey, there you go.
So that's it. So I left there, and then the next day we had a meeting. And this is where I really took my leap of faith. And I'm happy I did this. We had a meeting the next day, and they're like, well, you know, since you don't want to be a general manager no more, we'll make you assistant manager at one of our other stores. I told him no. I said, I said, because I don't feel like any of these managers could really teach me something. The only manager that could teach me something is my first manager that I had. So I'm like, I don't want to work for the company no more. So that was it. I worked 2 more weeks, and then October 14, 2017 was the last time I ever clocked in. That was it. That was the last time, and I just told myself I don't want to go through this no more. Like, like the fact that like somebody could fire you is scary to me.
Yeah, that's heavy.
That's scary.
Yeah,
that's scary. So after that, I started doing Uber. I did Uber for like 6 months, and I realized I like driving. I said I kind of like driving. It's a peace of mind. And then my dad, he was already a truck driver working for Prime Inc. And my brother-in-law was working for Prime Inc. at the same time too.
Okay.
So what led me into trucking was Christmas of 2017. I went to Atlanta to see my brother-in-law and my sister. And I just saw like the freedom he had. Like, I'm like, damn, he could choose when he want to go to work. He's talking to his dispatcher, and he's
like,
an
owner-operator?
I'm not ready to, huh?
He was an owner-operator?
He was a lease operator. He was an independent contractor, but even when you lease, it's like you your own boss.
Yeah, basically,
so,
yeah.
I'm watching him talk to his dispatcher like, I'm not ready today. I'm not ready. I'll be ready this day. And I'm just like, that just sounds fun. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's exactly what I want right there. Mind you, I'm already doing Uber, so I got a little freedom because I pick my own schedule. So I'm watching him do it, and then he showed me one of his paychecks, and that was it. That was it. I seen how much he made 1 week, and that was it. It was over with.
It was a wrap after that. He said,
it was over with, bro. It was over with. It was. I seen that paycheck. It was like 2,900 for 1 week. I said, damn, that's how. Some people can't make that in 1 month.
Yo, it's true. It's true. So it's funny, right? Because like, yo, it's crazy how social media works, man. I can't even remember how I really came across your page, but when I went on it, I forgot which video I saw. It was the video where you just purchased and you called a truck. What do you call it? Big Red or Sexy Red?
Big Red.
Big Red. I call it. Yeah. Okay. Big Red. And I saw the truck. I said, man, that truck is fire. But I didn't even see you yet on the video. Then I saw you come on the video. It was like a reel. And then I started looking at some of the other content. I said, yo, that's fire. Like, it's good to see another brother out there making 100%. Something happen, So yeah, so talk about what led you into like getting that first truck that you call. And I'm gonna put a picture on here after I edit it of the truck.
You guys showed the Big Red, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna put I'm gonna plaster it right up at the top. But yeah, kind of talk about what led into that, like how you really got that first truck. It's a Peterbilt, right?
KW.
Okay. Oh, okay. Kenworth. Okay. Yeah. So talk about how that all transpired.
All right. So how that transpired was I was working for Prime Inc. for 2.5 years. I was over the road for 2.5 years, and then after my lease was up, I was like everybody else do. I was like, I'm kind of tired. I'm tired of this. Let me try to see if I could do something else, And I was like, let me just try to do something else. So I tried to do like credit repair.
Okay.
I did that for about 3 months. But then I realized, I'm like, man, the money just ain't the same. Like, so I was home for about 4 months, and all the money I made over the last 2.5 years, like it started dwindling down, right? I never forget. I had like 60,000 left. This was in 2021. I had like 60,000 left. So I'm like, man, if I don't do something, this money gonna be gone. I'm off for 4 months. I spent like 47,000 these 4 months on what I don't even know. I was paying my bills and having fun in Miami, renting out Lambos, just having fun.
There you go. There you go.
You know how it is, bro. Like,
yeah, I already know.
Got some real money, and I'm like, let me just go have fun with it. So
yeah.
It was like June of 2021, and that's when I started realizing my money was dwindling. So I was like, I gotta figure something out. So I started looking around for trucks. At this time, the trucks was too high. Like the used trucks was way too high. So I stumbled across Long Mountain, which is where I got my truck from. And then all they had was KWs. They had no Freightliners. They have nothing else but KWs. So I'm like, I don't need before, right? I'm gonna say this. I didn't even the truck I have, I never liked them because I'm like long nose. I'm like, it look like a pit bull, like with that long nose, like an ugly truck, right? So, but that's all they had. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, some gotta give. And at the time they wanted like 23,500. And to wait for like a Freightliner, the lady, my sales lady, she didn't know when they was gonna get more trucks. So I said, okay, it's either I get this or I don't get a truck. And right now, I need to get a truck somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead and did the paperwork for that, got approved, and I got my truck. Mind you, though, this is the crazy part, bro. When I got my truck, I didn't even know how to drive it. I didn't even know how to drive it.
Oh, it's different than the one you was
No,
leased
because
on.
it's a 13 speed. It's
Okay.
a 13 speed manual, so I didn't even know how to drive it. I'm used to driving the automatic. I
Okay.
know how to shift and everything because I trained in the 10 speed. So I knew
Okay.
how to shift already, but it was over like 3 years where I didn't drive a manual. But I wanted it so bad. I
Yeah.
wanted it so bad, bro, that I didn't let none of that stuff stop me. You
Yeah.
know,
That's key.
I'm like, look, I got my license. I got common sense. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn how to drive. So
Yeah.
I get down there, I buy a Big Red, and then I drove back home like 730 miles. You
Mm.
know, yeah, 730 miles in Georgia. I know how
Okay.
to
You got,
drive, but my best friend, he know like how to. He don't know how to drive a truck, but he know like how to like the basic of how to shift. So he came down with me. He flew down to Georgia with me, and he drove back with me the whole way. I got the truck back home though, and then I stalled out a few times and stuff like that. I stalled out and stuff, but by the time I got home, I knew like the way to like shift. I learned like
got it.
I'm 700 miles. So
Okay.
that's how I bought my first truck.
That's solid,
Well,
man.
that's what led me up to that point.
Okay. So then you got your first truck and you start going OTR with that with Big Red. You start hitting the like the low boards, or you had a dispatcher, or
So I leased it on to a company
okay.
to a company first, but I wasn't really making the real money. So after a month leasing it on there, I leased it on to another company, and then I started really seeing some money.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I did.
So now, okay, so you got Big Red, you hitting the road. So now what, and it's like a two-part question, I guess, but like what led you into the second truck, like mindset and everything? Like, okay, what made you say it's time to get another one? And then that's one part of the question. The next part is like what's your goals and plans with
This is a
where you
great
at
question.
now?
Right. All right. So this is the crazy part, bro. Everything happens for a reason, right? I
Absolutely.
was in a position to get two, three, four, five trucks before, but I was comfortable. You know, I was making money with Big Red. My credit score good. I got cash flow coming in. So I was comfortable. I wasn't thinking big enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I work I work with the company for about a year. Then I go and take the leap of faith again, start my own authority, right? Mind you, I did that, started my own authority. I spent so much money. I spent like 50,000, right? And then as soon as I did that, the market crashed. The trucking market crashed. This was like last year, October last year. That's when the market just got bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, this ain't, you know, I just spent all this money out, and now the market go bad on me. Like, what type of luck is that? So I'm devastated. But then I get a little taste of how it feel to have your own authority for like 2 weeks. The last week of 2022 and the first week of 2023. I made like 14,000 within those 2 weeks.
Mm.
But the reason why was because everybody was at home because of the holiday. You know what I mean? New Year's,
Okay.
Christmas, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
So them 2 weeks though, I made money, but they actually cost me money too because I seen the potential. Like the first week of 2022, I grossed like 8,500 on 2,000 miles for the week. That's it was like 2,400 miles for the week, and I grossed 85. So after I did all my expenses, deducted my insurance, stuff like that, I still kept like 5,500. So I was like, okay. No, actually, it was like, I'm lying. It was like $5,000 I kept. So I'm like, okay, this is exactly why I did this. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
This is where I'm starting to see the money. I'm
Okay.
working less. I'm controlling my schedule. I'm booking my loads ahead of time. I said, this is exactly why I invested all that money before. So I'm like, okay, if it stay like this, I'll be okay. Like, I'll get my money back, right? So I just was being patient because I don't like giving up on something that you work hard for, blood,
Yeah,
sweat,
for
and tears,
sure.
you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to give up. Mind you, though, when the market was bad, I'm spending 4,300 a month on insurance, and I'm not seeing that. So I'm in a black 4,300 a month. But those 2 weeks tease me, and I'm like, okay, this is exactly why I did this. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna stay with it. You know what I mean? That happens soon after like the second week of the year. The market just went back down. So I'm like, okay, wow, this is crazy. So then I stopped like a month later. I'm like, I'm gonna just stop running under my own authority, man. It's not worth it. I'm not seeing the money. It's not worth it. So I was at the point where I'm like, man, look, I still got equity in Big Red. I'ma just I'ma just sell it. I'm gonna sell it. And I got like I could sell it, walk away with like 70,000 still. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's enough money to. And I was gonna sell it, bro. So crazy. I was gonna sell it and get a regular job because of the market. So I'm like, I could just sell it, get my money, walk away, and start over. You know. But then my like my mentor basically was like, listen, don't like just be patient. Like just try to find a company where you can take a truck to, and still make money. So I said, okay, cool. So I leased my truck to a company out of Kentucky, and I went there, but I wasn't really making no money because their business model and the way my business was set up already didn't didn't go intact. Like they do a
Okay.
lot of drop and hook, but I got my own truck, own trailer, so it wasn't going to work. So I didn't
Yeah.
make money there. So I'm like, all right, let me try to call the company where I made the most money with. And then I called him, and he like, listen, you always welcome back here. So I went over there. After like 2 weeks, I started making money again.
Mm.
So I said, okay, now I'm at the point where I was about to start over. I was about to sell my truck. Now I'm like, I don't want to get out this business now, you know? And then I kept working with them, and then that's when I was like, man, I my boy, he was working with like my mentor, his truck is down. So he was working with somebody truck, and they was doing like a split. So I saw like how much money like the owner was getting, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not driving.
Right.
So I said, man, I could do the same thing, you know?
Right.
So and it's like I got the second truck, bro. It's not about money. It's just about opportunities. Like
For
I
sure.
got a network of truck drivers that's around me. If anybody truck is down, I got an extra truck you can use. Here, let's make a
Mm.
split. Let's make an agreement. You got a job. You know what I mean?
I like
That's
that
how I was
mindset.
thinking.
That's solid.
That's how I was thinking. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
about money, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just about like if you're around a bunch of people doing the same thing and everybody is taking is at the next level, you won't ever be stressed out. You know what
Yo,
I
that's
mean?
true. It's true.
So that's
That's
how I was
key,
looking
man.
at it. That's
Mm-hmm.
the key. Yes, that's how I was looking at it. So that's what led me to buy my second truck.
That's solid, man. I like how you said it's not about the money.
Never about the
That's powerful because that's what makes a community strong, right there.
yep,
You know, like
100%.
wow, that's solid. So,
It's never about the money, bro.
yeah, yeah, I'm
You
with
can't.
you.
Rookies, rookies think about the money up front.
Exactly,
Feel me?
and that's why they never. That's
That's
why
why they
they
never make it
exactly,
because they think about it up front. But
exactly.
the real money is in the long term, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you give more, you will always be okay. Like you know,
That's true. Yeah, it's
yeah.
true. Yeah, it's true. Uh, I like two things I noticed about what you told me so far. I only got like two quick basic questions, but something that stuck with me that you said, or I noticed from what you've been saying. The first thing is, I like how so you got the truck in 2017 or 16.
What the
The
big red?
Big Red, yeah.
No, I got big red in 2021.
2021. Okay, but okay,
I
so
left my job in 2017.
that's what I meant. Yeah. So you left your job in 2017, and this is like your first transition into trucking, and so here we are, almost going on 7 years later, and now you're starting to really. And you would have never knew. I'm sure you never thought about it when you was in Domino's. You would be trucking right now, and on your second truck, and maybe even possibly in the future getting into your third, fourth, fifth, however whatever your goals are. But
Mm-hmm.
um, it's crazy because going back to what we were just saying, like it took time for that to bud
Exactly.
and sprout and eventually get to where it's at. And you didn't rush it. You didn't jump the gun. There's a lot of people, I think, even in the trucking industry, is like they might see like a picture, like they might see your video, for example, on Reels. You got the truck, and it's like, wow, like that's especially people that look like us, and they look at it and they say, wow, that's a dope thing, but they don't recognize what took the process to get there. So they look at that and they say, I'm gonna jump the gun and do what he did, but they don't recognize, yo, it was a process. There's a lot of things that were learned along the way to
Yeah.
get to where you was at. So I think that's real important, like the patience part of it, and then also the budgeting part of it. I like how you said, like, okay, I had this amount, and I knew, and and it's not to bring it back to this all the time, but there's a problem in certain communities where there's not financial literacy, whereas though people can understand, okay, this is for this amount is for this much, this is amount. And what I like about it is you said you had time to play, but you worked 2 years over the road.
100%. I worked that little 4 months that I was playing. I worked 2 years and 6 months.
Right. So,
You
but you
know,
got to play though. You got to
I
play,
got to
but
play.
you
Yeah,
worked,
I was having fun.
and after you got to play, you were still sitting on a substantial amount to where you could say, okay, I played. Now it's game time. What am I gonna do? Versus you played, now you at the rock bottom, and you like, man, how can I like even get
Bro,
started?
that's because I always told myself, once I get to this number, I got to
Mm-hmm.
do something. If
Mm,
if I try to do this credit repair thing, if it don't take off, I gotta go back to what I know how to do.
right.
That was it. And once I started, the money started creeping down. I'm like, oh no, I got to do something.
Yeah.
I bought a truck I didn't know how to drive, bro. Who's
Yeah.
gonna do that? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. That's solid though, man. So all right, to really bring it all into a conclusion, it's another two-part question, even though it really ain't, they're not really stuck together, but just to throw both of them out instead of waiting to ask the other one. Tell me, because you drove over the road a lot of those years, even to this day, if I'm not mistaken, bro, you gotta tell us tell us the craziest moment you ever had when you was on the road, and then the last part of that is just anybody that might be an aspiring trucker, person that wants to get into the industry, advice that you would give them. But the first part, I gotta hear like the craziest story, because I already know how being over the road, you go into a lot of different truck stops and you in a lot of different situations. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you got a story where you like, I'll never forget that day in my career as a driver. Like,
Like, all right, now you want a scary story or like a or like I'm trying to think like a fun story. Like, what kind of story you want?
that okay, that's good. I say scary. I feel like that's better. Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to scare the aspiring truck drivers away, man. But listen, I'm
But
gonna
you
tell
gotta
them the
be
truth.
real too. Like,
I'm gonna be real. So I had a few scares. I had a few. My first one was in Denver, Colorado, and it was like my first time like driving in the winter by myself,
mm,
and it was like a slippery road. As I'm driving on the road, I'm seeing all these trucks on the side, just like not flipped over, but like on the side of the road because it was icy. So I'm driving, I'm seeing, and I'm like, man, why is all these trucks? But it's so slippery.
mm-hmm,
So I'm driving, and then I start. It happened so fast, bro.
mm.
I'm driving. I start seeing the trailer swinging left, right, left, right. As it's happening, I'm like, oh snap! I'm about to be like one of them. You know what I mean? But I stay calm. That's what people don't understand. When stuff
Yeah,
stuff is happening, just stay calm. I stay calm, and I wasn't moving like the steering wheel a lot. So I got the truck back under control. And listen, I was just grateful that day. I'm like, damn, bro, like that could have been ugly, you know. And it wasn't
yeah.
like it was like a 2-lane road, so if anything was to happen, I would have been okay still. But it's just the fact that it could have happened.
Yeah, you.
And that's one scary moment. Another scary moment was recently, actually, like this year.
Mm,
Um, my trailer brakes started smoking up, and they literally they was on fire. And two people that I never knew, bro, saved me, helped me, like
mm,
because they the ones that seen it first. It only happened because like the way they gave me a faulty part from the shop, and my brake drum was like anytime I was braking, it was like no the brake shoes and the brakes was like touching anytime I was braking. So it
mm.
got real hot and it started smoking. And yeah, but that was the craziest stories on the road over the road though. But luckily, man, look, I'm blessed. I was okay,
Yeah, you was
This is what
okay.
I say to that. Like, because people always say, "Yo, it's dangerous, it's dangerous." I'm like, bro, every day is dangerous. When you wake up, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, may God rest their souls, but people that wake up out of nowhere, they go to like a supermarket come get shot up. That's
Mm-hmm.
dangerous. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So everything is dangerous, bro. It's dangerous when we wake up, and one thing that if aspiring truck drivers, like if you want to do this, don't focus on the internet because it's sad, it's dangerous, and it will scare you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I'm on the internet, I see these videos people try to do for clickbait. I don't even watch them because I don't want to see that. I don't want to
Yeah.
see the danger. I know what's going on. I see
Right.
it every day. But I don't want to click on and see what truck jackknife. I don't do it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely dangerous though, but everything is dangerous. It's dangerous when you get in your car and drive. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah, it's true.
At least the danger we taking, we making some real money.
There
That's
you
how I
go.
look at it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, that's key, man. I love the way that you think, bro. You have
Thank you,
a
bro.
good mindset, and it's obvious, to where it's gotten you. And I feel like, man, I look forward to maybe doing another one in the future, just catching up the
Hundred
speed
percent.
where you
Hundred
got
percent.
to. And again, man,
We definitely gonna.
I really like the idea of how you got the truck, not with the intention of, oh, money, making more money, but really just being a source or somewhere that somebody, because you network with other drivers, that they can come and plug in with you, and they got a job, they could take care of their families if they got families, or just themselves.
Yeah,
So that's, man, people like that always reap good. They always reap good in life. So, man,
that's it.
I really pray the best for your business, brother. And I thank you for jumping on here. I don't know if you wanted to add
Well, definitely.
any last things,
Hey
remarks, or
man, I
whatever.
like what you're doing too, man. I like what you're doing, and
I appreciate it.
I like that, man.
And
And
do you do consultation and stuff like that? What if somebody wanted to reach out, if they're?
um, I was doing it, but I stopped. But I'm gonna start doing it again, man, because I be talking to people every day, bro, and I'm like, man, I
Yeah,
gotta stop. You gonna start you gotta get to me now. Like I'll do a free consultation at any it's nothing, but
right.
I talk to people every day through TikTok, Instagram, people that just got questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, just thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, likewise, brother. Thank you for jumping on here. Like I said, y'all tap in with his page. I'm gonna put it on here, the Instagram page. Reach out if you got questions. I'm sure he'll be able to help you out, give you some good information.